morning, everyone. My name is Angel A. Candelasa, and today I will be reporting about implementing a curriculum in the classroom daily. It is no doubt that as aspiring educators, lesson plans are very essential inside the classroom as it contains all the needed objectives we need to achieve and the plans we have inside the classroom. But according to DepEd number 70 series of 2012, an order that sets forth guidelines on the preparation of daily lesson plans, it says that teachers who have been in service for more than 2 years, may it be private or public, shall not be required to prepare detailed lesson plans. Rather, they may adopt daily lesson logs which contains the needed information and guide from the teacher's guide and the teacher's manual reference material with page number, interventions given to the students and remarks to indicate how many students have mastered the lessons or are reading remediation. And that's for teachers who have been in service for more than 2 years. However, teachers with less than 2 years shall be required to prepare daily lesson plans, which shall include first, the objectives, second, the subject matter, third, the procedure, fourth, the assessment, and fifth, assignment. We have already discussed the essentiality of lesson plans inside the classroom, but the thing is, how do we start the class right using our lesson plans? Okay, let's tune in. Number one, starting the class right, laying down the curriculum plan. The main parts of a lesson plan are first, the objectives or intended learning outcomes, second, the subject matter, third, the procedures or strategies of teaching, fourth, the assessment of learning outcomes, and five, assignments or agreement. But what are they? Are they really important? Yes. Let's go back to the first one. Objectives or intended learning outcomes. As teachers, in making our lesson plans, it is very important that we are sure and we are very clear on what we are aiming to achieve. We must ensure that these objectives could cater to the needed requirements or to the needed learnings that would, satisfy the needs in terms of cognitive domain, affective domain, and the psychomotor. We must achieve this before we end our class. Also, number two, one of the most important things in making a lesson plan is that we must be sure on our subject matters because this subject matters is the thing that we will be discussing in class. Uncertainty of the subject matter will not give you a clear scope on what you will achieve or what you will be talking about in class. It will be very, very chaotic. That's why it's very important. And then number three, the procedure or strategies of teaching. As teachers, it is very important for us to make methods or to know lots of methods in terms of teaching. Why? It is a known fact that students have a short attention span. Thus, we must make sure that we are making the lessons more entertaining, more, like something that would encourage them or like motivate them to learn. Let's not make our class boring. Let's make fun in learning. Also, the fourth one, assessment of learning outcomes. Inside the classroom, we are not just there in terms of being there and for the sake of having an attendance. In school, we learn and then we measure those learning. Whether for us to know that we have achieved something, we need to improve something, or we need to, catch up with something that we're kind of failing. But yes, assessment of learning outcomes is very important in terms of making our lesson logs in order for us to know how to measure them and how to assess our students. And then the fifth one, assignment or agreement. The classroom is a place of learning, but it is not the only place that we should learn. That's why assignments are given in order to test the students if they could still remember the lessons or the topics outside of the classroom. And it is very, very good in a way that encourage students to aim for more, to seek for more information outside in what's given inside the classroom. And an agreement, it is very important too in establishing lesson plans because it is in agreements that students know on what to follow, on things that what they should do and what they ought not to do. 2. Intended learning outcomes. So, learning outcomes are based on taxonomy of objectives presented to us as a cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Bloom's taxonomy, the taxonomy we are commonly using in making lesson plans, has been revisited by his own student Loren Anderson and David Cretwell. In Bloom's taxonomy in 1956, we could see that the first one is evaluation, followed by synthesis, analysis, application, comprehension, and knowledge. But according to Anderson's revised Bloom taxonomy in 2001, the first one, instead of evaluation, is instead creating, then followed by evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. As from what we've seen earlier, comparing Bloom's taxonomy in 1956 and then the revised Bloom's taxonomy of Anderson in 2001, we could really notice a big difference between the two. Here are the differences noticed. A. The changing the names in the six categories from noun to verbs. B. The rearranging of these categories. And C. Establishing the levels of the knowledge level in the original version. Now, here are categories from the taxonomy and example keywords you could use in making them. Remembering. Remembering is to recall or to retrieve previous learned information. And you can use the keywords such as define, describe, identifies, label, outline, selects, and state. For understanding, it is understood as it is something about comprehension, translation, state problems in own words, and making meaning. Example keywords for understanding are comprehend, explains, distinguishes, estimates, give example, interprets, predicts, rewrites, and summarizes. For the category of applying, applying means the use of concept in new situation, applies what has been learned in new situation. So the example keywords for applying is that apply, changes, computes, operates, construct, modifies, uses, manipulates, prepares, shows, and solve. For the category of evaluating, evaluating is about making judgment about the value of ideas. You can use words such as appraises, compares, criticizes, defends, describes, discriminates, evaluates, interprets, justifies, and summarizes. In the category of analyzing, by analyzing, it aims to separate materials or concept into component parts so that the organization is clear. It aims to distinguish between facts and inferences. So the example keywords you could use for analyzing is breakdown, compare, contrast, diagram, differentiates, discriminates, identifies, infers, outlines, relates, select, and separate. And for the last category, which is creating, creating means building a structure or pattern from various elements. It aims to put parts together to create a whole, to make a new meaning. Words you can use for creating is composes, complies, designs, generates, reorganizes, and revises. And that's all. Thank you.